Today, we're going to talk about something incredibly important, but also incredibly sensitive. It's a type of fraud that preys on families during their most vulnerable moments. This is our guide to understanding and defeating the obituary scam. We're going to walk through exactly how to protect the people you love when they need it most.
Think about that for a second. It's such a painful paradox, isn't it? An obituary is supposed to be a final act of love, a way to honor a life and inform a community. But in the hands of a criminal, that beautiful tribute becomes a detailed blueprint for exploitation. Every single piece of information you share, a name, a date, a relationship, all of it, shared with the very best of intentions, can be turned into a weapon against the people who are grieving the most.
So here's how we're going to break this down today. First, we'll look at the hidden danger in an obituary itself. Then, we'll get into how scammers actually exploit grief. After that, we'll talk about a powerful defense strategy and the 4 practical steps to put it in place. We'll wrap up by reframing this as an act of care and leave you with one simple thing you can do today. Okay, let's start with the core problem here, the obituary's hidden danger. It's all about understanding how something created out of love and community can become a tool for people with the absolute worst intentions. You really have to see the 2 sides of this coin, because what you intend and what a criminal sees are 2 totally different things.
And this slide really lays it all out. On the left, that's your intention, to tell a life story, to share memories, to let friends and family know. It's a beautiful human ritual. But look at the right side. A criminal sees none of that emotion. To them, it's a goldmine of data. They see the deceased name, the surviving spouse's name, dates, relationships. It's like a shopping list of all the keys they need to unlock your trust when you're least expecting it.
So how exactly do they turn that information into an attack? Well, this section is all about their playbook. And you need to know, these people are not criminal masterminds. They are predators, and they follow a very predictable script. The good news is, once you can see their strategy, you can start to take it apart piece by piece.
The key phrase here is social engineering capital. You can just think of it as a password to your trust. See, this isn't about hacking computers. It's about hacking human emotions. When a total stranger calls you up, but they know your recently deceased partner's name, and maybe another little detail from the obituary, they're using that public info to sound like an insider. They instantly bypass your natural defenses. This capital is what they use to build a fake sense of legitimacy and urgency.
This is exactly what they're looking for. It's literally their checklist. They get the deceased's full name, so they sound official. They pinpoint the main survivor, usually a spouse or a child, who they know is under incredible emotional stress. They even note the time of the funeral, because they know that's when you're completely distracted and the least likely to check on a strange claim. And yeah, if a home address is in there, they know exactly where to find you.
Now, why does this tactic work so well? The answer is all about what's happening in the survivor's mind. Grief isn't just sadness. It's a period of intense cognitive overload. I mean, you're trying to process this huge loss, but at the same time, you're juggling dozens of tasks, planning a service, calling relatives, dealing with mountains of paperwork. Your ability to think critically, to pause and ask questions, it's just compromised. You're exhausted, you're emotionally raw, and your brain is just trying to get through the next 5 minutes. Scammers absolutely count on this.
So, you've got all this personal data that's publicly available from the obituary, and you've got the survivor in a state of cognitive overload. That combination creates what we call a high-risk window. This is a very specific period of time, usually the few days right before and after the funeral, where a family's defenses are at their absolute lowest. And that's when the scammers strike. They'll call demanding quick payment for a so-called unpaid debt or a final bill because they know you are in no position to investigate it.
Okay, we've laid out the threat, and it's a serious one. But now, we're going to pivot to the solution. And here's the good news. A predictable threat can be fought with a clear, simple plan. We call it the Crisis Communication Protocol, and it's all about building a shield before you ever actually need one.
Now, Crisis Communication Protocol sounds really formal and complicated, right? But it's actually very simple. It's just a pre-planned agreement within your family to create a protective bubble around the person who's grieving. And its core principle is right there on the screen: zero engagement with unexpected demands. That means no long conversations, no trying to explain things, and absolutely no payments in response to some surprise phone call or email that you didn't see coming.
And listen, if you only remember one thing from our time together today, please let it be this golden rule. Legitimate organizations, hospitals, banks, government agencies, they just don't operate this way. They have processes, they send official mail, and they work directly with the person who is legally in charge of the estate, like the executor or an attorney. Any phone call that tries to pressure you and bypass those official channels, well, it's almost certainly a scam. This one idea is your most powerful shield. So, how do we actually put this protocol into action? Let's break it down into 4 clear, totally manageable steps to safety. This is the practical part, what you and your family can actually do to build that protective wall. So here they are, the 4 steps. We're going to establish a gatekeeper, we'll limit the information you make public, we'll create a very strict payment policy, and then finally, we'll protect the deceased's identity for the long haul. Let's walk through each one right now.
Step 1 is without a doubt the most important defensive move you can make. You need a communication gatekeeper. And this has to be someone who is not in that immediate circle of grief. A trusted friend, a cousin you're close with, maybe a colleague. Their job is simple. They are the firewall. All calls, all emails about the deceased's affairs get routed to them. They have the emotional distance to calmly take messages, screen out the obvious scams, and only pass legitimate info to the executor. This one move frees the immediate family to just grieve.
Okay, step 2 is about starving the scammers of that social engineering capital we talked about. Be really thoughtful about what goes into the public obituary. There is absolutely zero reason to ever include a home address. You can list the funeral home for the service, but never your private residence. Also, think about being a little more general with the list of surviving family. Instead of naming every single child and grandchild, you can use broader language. The goal is still to honor your loved one, but without creating a detailed family tree for a criminal to use.
Step 3 is a hard and fast rule, the no debt payment policy, and everyone in the family needs to be on the same page. If a call comes in claiming there's a final overdue bill, the answer is always the same. Thank you for the information. Please send any official notice to the executor of the estate. That's it. You don't argue, you don't explain, you just redirect. A real creditor will follow that process. A scammer who needs that immediate payment will just give up and move on.
And finally, step 4. This is what protects you from damage down the road. As soon as you possibly can, get a copy of the death certificate and contact the 3 big credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Notifying them of the death will put a permanent lock on your loved one's credit file. This makes it impossible for a scammer to use their information to open new credit cards or take out loans. It's a critical step that prevents a whole other nightmare of identity theft from starting months or even years later.
Now, I know that talking about all this planning can feel a little grim, maybe even cynical. It can feel like you're preparing for the worst when all you want to do is focus on love and good memories. But I really want to encourage you to shift your perspective on this. This isn't about being suspicious. It's about being protective. It's a proactive act of respect. And this quote really gets to the heart of it. By setting up these simple defenses, you are honoring your loved one's legacy. You're making sure that the resources they worked so hard for are used to support the family, not get stolen by a predator. Protecting the survivor from financial harm is one of the most powerful ways to respect the memory of the person you've lost. It's truly an act of continued care.
And that, ultimately, is the entire point. Putting a simple plan in place removes the threat of financial panic and chaos from a situation that is already completely overwhelming. This preparedness creates a safe space, and it allows a family to focus their limited emotional energy on what's actually important: grieving together, supporting each other, and starting that long process of healing without the added trauma of being scammed.
So we've walked through the problem and the solution. Let's end with a simple, gentle challenge to help you take that very first step toward being prepared. This isn't about getting everything done at once. It's just about starting the conversation.
Just take a moment and really think about this question. Who in your life is calm under pressure? Who is completely trustworthy and just a little bit removed from your innermost circle? Who could you call on to be that protective barrier for your family in a crisis? Just having a name in your head, that's the beginning of a plan. It turns this from an abstract idea into a concrete first step.
And that leads us to your one critical action. Please, don't let this just be interesting information that you heard today. Have the conversation. Talk to your spouse, your kids, or the person you've chosen as your executor. Just mention the idea of a communication gatekeeper and agree on that no-debt payment policy. Taking 10 minutes to have this talk today can prevent an unimaginable amount of stress and loss tomorrow. To bring it all together, remember that criminals are just opportunists. They specifically target the confusion and the exhaustion that surrounds a loss, and they use the details from an obituary to build instant fake trust. But the most powerful defense is that simple plan we talked about, the Crisis Communication Protocol. It relies on a communication gatekeeper to act as a shield and on that absolute, unbreakable rule of never paying an unexpected debt without verification. This informed vigilance, it isn't about living in fear.
It's about ensuring that during one of life's most difficult chapters, your peace is protected and your family's stability is maintained. It allows you to focus on honoring a memory and on healing. It closes that window of opportunity for scammers, and it opens up the space for what truly matters.